Wen Jiabao's final State of the Nation address to open the National People's Congress Monday could very well be his most downbeat of his 9 years as premier. Domestic economic growth is slowing, Europe is in crisis, and the economic growth model that served China so well for 30 years is, as the World Bank says, in need of an overhaul to rely less on exports and state-controlled investment and more perhaps on the private sector and domestic consumption.
If Premier Wen brings down the growth target from 8% to 7.5%, it's a very important signal domestically and especially to the provinces that growth is not the be-all and end-all of policies.
As the Chinese politicians all gather up north in Beijing for the annual National People's Congress, the provinces, well, they have to find new avenues of growth as the credit taps remain tight. Cities all across China spent their way through the global financial crisis, transforming themselves with glistening new skyscrapers. Like here in Guangzhou, they're so tall you cannot even see the roofs. And over here, another one is going up. Investment-led growth is an intoxicating cocktail. It's hard to give up.
The problem is that the whole structure of the economy isn't really set up to growing at a slower pace.
Ironically, when the market is at the worst point, it could be the best time for you to push out some of the painful reforms because your downside risk is less.
China needs to find new drivers of growth while at the same time fulfilling the government's pledges to reduce pollution, alleviate the widening income gap, and instigate deep financial and social system reform, from residency rights to currency recalibration.
With the leadership transition coming up, there is a push by the old guard to try to back off from various reforms because, again, the system does work very well for certain people like the large state enterprises, the big banks, and they would prefer to keep the system as is.
They're at each other's throats. It's going to be extremely difficult for the government to engineer this dramatic change. It's not an understatement to say that they have to totally re-engineer the Chinese economy. They need another Deng Xiaoping, and we don't really see one of those waiting in the sidelines.
Yeah, so who's going to put their political neck out on the line for this?
No one.
Stephen Engle, Bloomberg, Guangzhou.